Rita was a beautiful young woman with two men vying for her heart. Henry, a humble banker, offered her love and loyalty, while Adam, the son of a wealthy family, promised her riches and power. Rita will then make a terrible decision that she would later regret for the rest of her life. Welcome to African Story by Rita. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you never miss any of our emotional and unforgettable stories. Rita had always known that beauty could open doors, but she also believed that beauty without ambition was wasted. She was the kind of girl people turned to look at twice, not only because of her elegant figure, but also because of the fire in her eyes, a fire that spoke of hunger for a better life. Born into a modest family in Benin City, Rita grew up watching her parents struggle to make ends meet. From childhood, she vowed she would never live and die poor. By her mid-20s, she had a good job at a small insurance company, but she still considered her life incomplete. What she really wanted was comfort, luxury, and the security of wealth. She told herself that she deserved it. She worked hard, dressed well, and carried herself with confidence. It wasn't long before two men began to compete for her heart. The first was Henry. Henry was a banker, working in a mid-level position at one of the local banks. He wasn't wealthy by any standard, but he was diligent, responsible, and kind. Whenever Rita had a problem, financial or emotional, Henry was there, sometimes even borrowing to make sure she was comfortable. He adored her in a way that made his friends tease him. In his eyes, Rita could do no wrong. He called her queen, and even when his pockets were empty, he would find a way to buy her flowers, cook her a meal, or surprise her with little gestures. But Henry's kindness came with limitations. His salary wasn't enough to give Rita the life she dreamed of. She knew he loved her, but love didn't pay rent, buy cars, or secure a future in her eyes. She enjoyed his company, yet deep inside she doubted whether she could build the life she wanted with him. The second man was Adam. Adam came from wealth. His father owned multiple businesses, from oil supply contracts to real estate investments across Lagos and Abuja. Adam himself was polished, confident, and moved around with the air of a man who had never known lack. Expensive watches, designer suits, and a brand new SUV were the ornaments that followed him everywhere. He pursued Rita with determination, showering her with gifts, perfumes, cash, even the latest phone she once admired at a store. He promised her the world, telling her she belonged in a higher place, far above the struggles of ordinary women. But there was a problem. Adam's family never liked her. From the very first introduction, his mother had frowned at Rita's background. "She's not from our circle," she told Adam openly. "Our family has a name to protect. You can't bring just anyone into this house." His sisters sneered at her quietly, throwing sarcastic remarks whenever she visited. Yet, Adam brushed their objections aside, assuring Rita that once she became his wife, no one would dare disrespect her. Rita chose to believe him. Still, she felt the tension in her soul. Henry offered peace. Adam offered wealth. One gave her love. The other promised power. But she could not have both. One evening, Rita sat in her small apartment, staring at a bouquet of flowers Henry had dropped off. It wasn't the first time. He had spent his last cash that week, she knew. His text message came almost instantly after, "Rita, I may not have much now, but with you by my side, I'll climb higher. I love you deeply. Please don't ever forget that." Her heart softened. She thought about his genuine smile, the way he made her laugh without trying, the way he held her hand as though she was the most precious thing in the world. But then her phone buzzed again. It was Adam. This time, the message was an alert. 200,000 naira had entered her account. A minute later, Adam's call followed. "Baby, I know you said you wanted to change your wardrobe for the company dinner. Take this money and get yourself something nice. You deserve to look like the queen you are." Her heart pounded. She stared at her tiny one-room apartment, at the peeling paint, at the old furniture she had inherited from her late aunt. She imagined living in Adam's mansion, with marble floors, chandeliers, and maids at her service. She imagined never worrying about money again. Her ambition began to drown Henry's love. But life was never that simple. One Sunday afternoon, while visiting her parents, Rita confided in her mother. "Mama, I don't know what to do. Henry loves me, but he's struggling. Adam is wealthy, but his family despises me. Who do I choose?" Her mother looked at her carefully, her tired eyes narrowing. "My daughter, listen to me. A man's heart is more valuable than his money. Money can finish, but true love stays. I have watched Henry. That boy will worship you all his life. Adam? Adam's riches are not yours. They belong to his family. Be careful before you enter fire thinking it is light." Rita sighed. "Mama, but love does not pay bills. I want a life different from yours. I don't want to suffer like you suffered with Papa." Her mother turned away, silent, her shoulders trembling slightly. She didn't argue further, but Rita could feel the weight of her disappointment. Days turned into weeks, and the pressure increased. Henry proposed one quiet evening at her doorstep, holding a modest silver ring. His hands shook, but his voice was steady. "Rita, I don't have much, but I promise to make you happy every day of my life. Will you marry me?" Tears stung her eyes. She wanted to say yes. But before she could answer, her phone vibrated again. A message from Adam lit up her screen. "Pack your bags. I want to take you to Abuja this weekend. Let's look at the new house I want to buy for us. You belong to me, Rita. Don't waste time with small boys." Her heart raced. Henry was on his knees, waiting. Adam's world was calling. That night, Rita lay awake. She kept hearing her mother's warning, Henry's pleading voice, Adam's promises of wealth. She felt trapped between two destinies. By dawn, she made her choice. She called Henry first. "Henry, you are a good man, but I don't think we are meant to be. I'm sorry." The silence on the other end was heavy, suffocating. Then Henry whispered, "Rita, you're making a mistake. But I won't stop you. If this is what you want, I'll step aside. Just remember, love like mine doesn't come twice." Her chest tightened, but she quickly ended the call before her tears betrayed her. The following week, she said yes to Adam. Her friends cheered. Adam's family frowned. Her own family kept silent. And Rita told herself she had finally secured the life she wanted. But beneath her triumph, a shadow of doubt lingered, one that would follow her into the glittering halls of Adam's wealth, waiting for the day it would consume her. The weeks leading to Rita's wedding were supposed to be filled with joy, laughter, and celebration. Instead, they became a silent battlefield. Adam's family made no effort to hide their disapproval. His mother, Madame Grace, was the loudest voice of opposition. She believed Rita was beneath their status, a gold digger who had charmed her son. Every time preparations were discussed, Madame Grace found a way to dismiss or belittle Rita's choices. "Those people you call your relatives, can they even afford to host our friends?" she scoffed one evening when they gathered to plan. "This wedding is for our family, not for your street neighbors." Rita bit her tongue, forcing a smile, but inside, shame burned through her. She wanted to walk out, but Adam squeezed her hand under the table. "Ignore her," he whispered. "You're my wife-to-be. That's all that matters." But words were not enough to silence the cold stares and whispered insults that followed her in Adam's family mansion. His sisters mocked her clothes, comparing them to the latest designers they flaunted. His cousins treated her like a visitor, not a bride-to-be. Each time Rita returned home, she cried quietly, but in the mirror she reminded herself, this is the price of wealth. Endure it. Soon, you'll rise above them all. Henry, meanwhile, had disappeared from her life. No calls, no texts, not even a message through mutual friends. His absence should have brought her peace, but instead, it gnawed at her. Sometimes, late at night, she wondered what he was doing, if he had moved on, if he still thought of her. But she always shook the thought away. "No, Rita. Don't look back. You've chosen your path." The wedding day arrived. The church was packed with guests, the air thick with perfume, whispers, and camera flashes. Adam stood at the altar, looking regal in a tailored suit, a gold wristwatch glinting under the light. Rita, in a flowing white gown, looked like a queen. Her heart raced as she walked down the aisle, but not with joy. Instead, she felt the eyes of Adam's family piercing her like knives. When the priest asked, "Who gives this woman to be married?" Rita's stepmother, a stern woman named Veronica, stepped forward. Her face was unreadable. She had never shown Rita much affection, always reminding her she was just her husband's daughter from a previous marriage. Yet Rita had expected that at least today, she would play her part with dignity. Instead, as the congregation looked on, Veronica reached out, gripped Rita's wrist, and pulled her close. "You foolish girl," she hissed in a voice that carried through the hall. "You think marrying into this family will save you. They don't want you here." Then, in one swift, shocking moment, she slapped Rita across the face. Gasps filled the church. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Rita staggered back, her veil slipping. The sting of the slap burned her cheek, but the humiliation cut deeper. Tears blurred her vision as she saw Adam's family smirking, some whispering into each other's ears with satisfaction. Adam rushed forward, holding her. "Enough, Mama. You've embarrassed us all," he barked. But the damage was done. Rita stood frozen, the image of her mother's handprint burning in her mind. She wanted the ground to open and swallow her. She thought about running, about tearing off the gown and escaping. But the priest's voice pulled her back. "Shall we continue?" he asked gently, though even he looked unsettled. The ceremony dragged on, but Rita heard nothing. The vows, the blessings, the applause, it all felt distant, like an echo in another world. When Adam slipped the ring onto her finger, she forced a smile for the cameras, but inside, something broke. The reception was no better. Adam's family barely hid their disdain. His mother didn't give a speech. His sisters snickered openly when Rita tried to dance. Guests whispered about the slap, some shaking their heads in pity, others calling it a bad omen. Rita swallowed her pride, laughing, dancing, pretending not to notice, but her heart was in pieces. Later that night, when they returned to Adam's mansion, Rita sat quietly on the edge of the bed, her makeup smeared from tears she hadn't shown in public. Adam loosened his tie, looking irritated. "Why do you look like that?" he asked. "Your family humiliated me today," she whispered. "Even my own stepmother," Adam cut her off, his voice cold. "Don't start this tonight. You knew from the beginning they didn't like you. If you want to be part of this family, you'll have to toughen up. Stop acting like a child." Rita's chest tightened. She looked at the man she had chosen, the man she had sacrificed Henry for, and for the first time, she saw the cracks in his charm. He wasn't comforting her. He wasn't protecting her. He was already blaming her. That night, as she lay beside him in the grand bedroom with golden curtains and marble floors, Rita closed her eyes and thought of Henry. She remembered his gentle voice, his hands holding hers, his promise to always make her happy. Her tears soaked the pillow. But Henry was gone. And she was now Adam's wife. The price of wealth had only just begun to reveal itself. At first, Rita thought the humiliation on her wedding day would be the worst she would face. She told herself that once the noise faded, life with Adam would be better. After all, wasn't that why she chose him? For the wealth, the comfort, the security. She clung to that hope like a drowning woman clings to driftwood. But soon, she learned the truth. The mansion she had dreamt of was nothing more than a golden cage. From the moment she moved into Adam's family house, the air grew heavy with hostility. His mother avoided her, barely speaking except to give orders that made her feel like a servant rather than a wife. His sisters whispered about her, calling her that gold digger loud enough for her to hear. His cousins treated her like an intruder. Even the housemaids, loyal to Madame Grace, looked at her with smugness, emboldened by the contempt of their employer. Rita tried to win them over at first. She cooked meals, joined family gatherings, dressed carefully to impress. But nothing worked. The more she tried, the more they despised her. "Don't waste your time," Adam told her one evening when she complained. "They'll never like you. Just ignore them." But how could she ignore the constant attacks, the cruel jokes, the way they froze her out of every conversation? Then, Adam himself began to change. The man who once called her queen now spoke to her like a burden. His attention drifted, his tone sharpened, his patience thinned. He came home late, often smelling of alcohol and women's perfume. When she asked where he had been, he snapped, "Don't question me, Rita. I'm not one of your broke boyfriends. I do what I want." The first time he hit her, it was over something small. She had asked why he hadn't joined her for dinner with her parents. Adam, drunk and irritated, slapped her across the face. The blow sent her crashing against the wall. She gasped, clutching her cheek, staring at him in shock. "Adam, you hit me." He glared at her, his chest heaving. "You talk too much. Next time, learn to keep quiet." She cried all night, but by morning, Adam acted as if nothing had happened. He bought her an expensive necklace and kissed her forehead. "Don't make me angry again, baby. You know I love you." Rita wanted to believe it was a mistake, but the abuse only worsened. Slaps became punches. Yells became insults. Each time she thought it couldn't get worse, it did. And his family? They turned a blind eye. Sometimes they even smirked when they saw her swollen face, whispering that she had brought it on herself. The mansion that had once dazzled her now felt like a prison. The marble floors, the chandeliers, the grand staircase, none of it mattered when her heart was heavy with fear. She began to envy the maids who could leave at the end of the day. She, the wife, was the one truly trapped. Nights were the hardest. When Adam staggered home drunk, she lay trembling, wondering if tonight he would shout, or strike, or pass out without a word. Sometimes, in the stillness of the night, she remembered Henry. Henry's gentle voice. His smile. The way he held her hand, as if she were made of glass. One evening, after another argument with Adam, she sat alone in her room, clutching the necklace he had once given her. She thought about Henry's proposal, the silver ring he had offered with trembling hands. She had chosen Adam's gold over Henry's love, and now the gold felt like chains around her neck. Her regret grew heavier each day. But fate was not finished with her. A year into the marriage, whispers of Adam's infidelity became undeniable. She found hotel receipts, strange messages on his phone, and lipstick stains on his shirts. When she confronted him, he laughed in her face. "Do you think I married you for love? You wanted money, Rita, and you got it. Don't ask me about loyalty. I'll do as I please." His words sliced through her like knives. She realized then that she wasn't a wife in Adam's eyes, she was a trophy, a possession, nothing more. Her health began to suffer. She lost weight, her once bright face grew pale, her laughter vanished. Friends who visited noticed the change, but she brushed their concerns aside. "I'm fine," she lied, forcing a smile. Inside, she was crumbling. One night, after a particularly brutal argument where Adam had shoved her so hard she hit her head on the edge of the bed, Rita locked herself in the bathroom, shaking. She stared at her reflection in the mirror, swollen eyes, bruised cheek, trembling lips. "Is this what you chose, Rita?" she whispered to herself. "You traded love for this." Tears poured down her face. She thought of Henry again, of the way he had begged her not to make a mistake. She remembered his words, "Love like mine doesn't come twice." And now it was gone. The days turned into months, and Rita felt herself drowning in sorrow. Her ambition, once her strength, had betrayed her. She had climbed into wealth, only to find herself shackled in misery. Still, she endured, praying that one day Adam would change. But deep in her heart, she knew the truth. The life she had chosen was destroying her. The golden cage was tightening its grip. And soon, it would crush her completely. By the second year of Rita's marriage, the truth could no longer be hidden. The bruises, the whispers, the hollow look in her eyes, all betrayed the storm within. Even neighbors began to notice, though no one dared to speak aloud what everyone suspected. Adam, once the charming suitor who had promised her the world, now paraded women openly. He stayed out for nights, returning only to sneer at Rita or lash out when the smallest thing displeased him. His family, they only tightened the noose around her neck. Madame Grace, his mother, often told her coldly, "You wanted wealth, and now you have it. Be grateful my son even lets you stay under this roof." Her stepmother, Veronica, who had slapped her on her wedding day, grew bolder too. Whenever Rita visited her father's house, Veronica mocked her. "See your life? You thought you were better than everyone else. Did your money save you from disgrace? Foolish girl." Rita swallowed her pain in silence. But silence has a way of eating into the soul. She began to withdraw from the world, shutting out friends, avoiding family gatherings. She no longer recognized herself in the mirror. The once ambitious, bright-eyed woman was now a shadow, consumed by regret. The final blow came one evening. Adam had returned home drunk, his shirt unbuttoned, smelling of another woman. Rita confronted him, not with anger, but with tears. "Adam, please. I am your wife. Why do you humiliate me like this? Have I done something wrong?" He looked at her with cold, empty eyes. "Rita, let's not pretend. You didn't marry me for love. You married me for money. Well, I've given you the money. But don't expect love in return. You made your choice, now live with it." She broke down, falling to her knees, sobbing. But Adam only walked away, slamming the door behind him. That night, Rita realized she had lost everything, her dignity, her joy, her dreams. Even worse, she had lost the one man who had truly loved her. Henry's face haunted her every time she closed her eyes. His voice echoed in her memory, "Love like mine doesn't come twice." And he had been right. Within months, the marriage collapsed completely. Adam filed for divorce, accusing her of being unfit for his household. His family supported him eagerly. Rita was thrown out of the mansion with nothing but her clothes and a few personal items. The wealth, the comfort, the status, all gone in the blink of an eye. She returned to her small apartment, the same place she had once despised. The peeling paint, the cracked furniture, the silence, it mocked her. Whispers spread quickly. People who had once envied her wedding now pointed fingers. "Did you hear? Rita's marriage has ended. That rich family finally sent her away." Some pitied her, others mocked, but no one offered comfort. One rainy evening, she sat by her window, staring at the street lights. Her phone was in her hand. She wanted to call Henry, to beg for forgiveness, to tell him she had been blind. But pride and shame tied her tongue. What would she even say? That she had chosen gold over love, only to end up with nothing. Weeks later, by chance, she heard news of Henry. He had been promoted at the bank. He was now married to a quiet, kind woman who adored him. They were expecting their first child. The news crushed her. She locked herself in her room and wept for hours, her chest heaving with sobs. She realized she had not only lost Henry's love, but also the future she could have had, a home built on peace, respect, and true devotion. Instead, she was alone. Regret gnawed at her every waking moment. At night, she dreamed of what could have been, Henry smiling at her across their dinner table, children playing in the yard, laughter filling their home. But every morning she woke to the harsh reality of her empty apartment. Her ambition had blinded her. Her hunger for wealth had led her into chains. And now, the chains were broken, but she was left with scars that would never heal. She often sat in silence, whispering to herself, "If only I had chosen Henry. If only I had listened, but if only was too late." The world had moved on. Henry had moved on. Adam had discarded her. And Rita, once so ambitious and full of life, became a woman living with nothing but memories of what she had lost. Her story became a silent warning whispered among young women in her neighborhood: choose love, not gold. For when ambition blinds the heart, regret becomes its only companion. The moral lesson of the story is that true love is worth more than wealth. Money can fade, riches can betray, but a heart that truly loves you is priceless. Choose love, not gold, because regret often comes when it's too late.